Do you lose control in another world? There's the lyrics of the song You're So High. Do you lose control in another world? Well, this song relates to addiction. I'm not sure they're talking about addiction, but in a way everything relates to addiction, particularly when you've got an addiction. Of course you lose control after you have 1 or 2 or 3 drinks. Why do you lose control? Frankly, because your life sucks. And what you think of as losing control in this world is actually being in control in the real world, because the real world isn't where we are right now. The real world is mystical, it's cosmic, it's non-linear, it's creative, it's ever expanding, it's constant growth. But when you live a life where there's not constant growth in your life, then you use those substances to get to that other world. The other world is who we really are, it's our natural state. But we're taught to believe that it's incorrect to pursue that other state. But once we're in that state, drugs or alcohol or any other means, whatever we use, we realize there's actually something that feels so right. It just feels so right. And of course the real world's always going to knock on your door if you're not following up on who you are and what you want to do and living correctly in accord with nature, which is you. Your nature, the universe is nature. It all follows the same principles of intelligent organization, of feeling great, of being great, of feeling awesome, of feeling like life is worth living and it has inherent meaning. Now that inherent meaning may mean the meaning you give it, but that's also nature, that's also you acting in accord with those principles. You're in alignment with that. And you could also frame it the other way, that it has inherent meaning, but that's also you. It's all you. It always was you, and it always will be you. Bit on AA. Now, AA gets a lot of criticisms, and a lot of those criticisms are due to understanding. I think there's some valid ones in terms of, is it the right system for you? For example, in AA, if you follow the steps, most people don't really get into the moral dimension, where you do a type of confession, a moral inventory, and you take actions, which is most important, to correct how you act without accordance to your true nature. So the AA system, not many people know this, is based on a Christian tradition. Saint Augustine was the so-called saint's name, and a lot of that was about acting in accordance with your nature. Now they make it all moral and act like you have to do something that's not you, but really the only reason you're acting immoral in the first place is because you don't know who you are. Moralness is actually quite natural, so that may be one of the criticisms of the system, is there's too moral based, and addiction isn't a moral disease. And here we're getting into language. into symbology, into maybe having disagreements only because of the language we're using, when really a lot of people who figured this stuff out are all talking about the same thing, just in a different way. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we want to do with addiction is we really want to understand what really works. What's going to get you there? And everyone that's figured out the way, there's still base principles. It may seem like they took a different path, but really there's a unified system of intelligence that they're tapping into, that they're using. Now, does the moral way work for addiction? Well, yes, because it taps into your base nature, that same base nature you tap into when you take your substance, or getting into the mystical through meditation, or skydiving, or music, or getting in large crowds and getting angry at politicians or sticking up for your rights. You're tapping into your base nature, which is what we're really after. There's a lot more about AA that I could say. There's a lot that's good about it. Rather than everyone in the field arguing about the validity of different systems, we should really be looking at what actually works. We might not understand why it works initially until you reach the end point. Then it makes sense that there's many roads to the mountain. That's fundamentally what addiction is about. It's taking your path up the mountain till you get to the top. Or maybe not the top, maybe there is no top because it's constant growth, but till you get where you want to be, where you're happy, fulfilled, feeling awesome, and loving the life that you're living. This is going to be a short video, so I'll sign off now, but I'm going to be talking a lot more about these principles. And just remember, just because what hasn't been working for you, or just because what you've been doing hasn't been working for you, should I say, doesn't mean that there's not a whole bunch of options that you may not have considered that will work for you. There's always a way. Nature always gives us a way. But in one of the most accurate analogies I can think of, life is basically like learning simulation. It will always provide you reasons to keep growing, or an impetus to keep growing. And that's fundamentally what addiction is about. Nature's giving you an opportunity to not be stagnant, to not be satisfied with where you are, because you're probably not really satisfied, otherwise you wouldn't be doing other things to try and get to where you want to be. Other maybe dysfunctional things. I'll keep talking forever, so I better end it there. But see you in the next video.